You think the darkest monsters in the Odyssey are the ones that look the most monstrous. Wrong. The truly dark ones aren't just trying to kill you, they're trying to erase the rules that make you human. Hospitality, choice, identity, and hope. Because Homer's sea isn't just water, it's a moral battlefield. Out there, one mistake doesn't just cost your life, it can cost your name, your crew, and your future. So today we're ranking the darkest monsters and antagonists in the Odyssey, not by how famous they are, but by one brutal question, once you meet them. How much of you can ever come back? Let's count them down. 6. The Shades of Hades. Let's start with the scariest monster that doesn't have teeth. The underworld. Odysseus enters a land where the dead aren't screaming. They're whispering, thousands of souls, hungry for attention, desperate to be remembered. It's not a jump scare kind of horror. It's the kind that drains you slowly. Because the danger isn't that the dead will stab you. The danger is that grief, guilt, and curiosity will make you stay. In that space, the living become weak. Your mind bends, your purpose blurs. And if you lose your goal, if you forget why you came, then you don't escape. The Shades are ranked at number 6 because Odysseus does get out. But psychologically, this is the first place where the journey stops being survive the sea and becomes survive yourself. 5. The Laestrygonians. Now we go from psychological horror to sudden massacre. The Laestrygonians are cannibal giants, and the reason they're so dark is how fast they destroy everything. There's no epic duel, no hero moment, just boulders raining down, ships crushed, crews eaten, and a fleet reduced to almost nothing. In many summaries, only Odysseus' own ship escapes. This is the kind of horror modern audiences understand instantly. You can do everything right and still get wiped out because you sailed into the wrong place at the wrong time against an enemy that doesn't treat you as a rival. They treat you as food. That's what makes them terrifying. They don't hate you, they don't fear you, they don't even respect you enough to fight fair. For the Sirens are one of the most famous monsters in all Greek myth, and it's because they don't win with strength. They win with your own mind. In older Greek tradition, Sirens are often depicted as woman-headed birds or bird-like beings, and their island is surrounded by rocks and cliffs because the trap ends the same way, shipwreck. But the real horror is the song. The Sirens don't just sing beautifully. They sing specifically to you, to your curiosity, your pride, your grief, your need to know. Their lure isn't lust, it's obsession. And Odysseus' solution is not be strong. His solution is admit weakness. He has to be tied down like a prisoner so that he can't obey his own brain. That's why the Sirens are dark. They don't force you to die. They convince you to choose it. 3. Polyphemus the Cyclops. Most people think Polyphemus is scary because he's big and has one eye. No. He's terrifying because he breaks the one law that makes civilization possible, xenia, hospitality. In Greek thinking, hospitality isn't being polite, it's sacred. It's the rule that stops strangers from becoming prey. Polyphemus violates it completely. He traps Odysseus and his men in a cave, and he eats them, not in war, not in self-defense, like livestock. This is primal horror, being reduced from person to meat, and he's not just a random monster. He's tied to divine power, often described as the son of Poseidon, meaning the consequences can ripple through fate. The Cyclops is ranked number 3 because he represents the darkest truth of the journey. Out at sea, you can't always appeal to law or morality or reason. Sometimes you meet something that has power and no conscience. To Charybdis. Charybdis is not a villain with emotions. It's not even a fight. It's a force of nature turned into a mouth. In classical descriptions, Charybdis swallows the sea and spews it back out 3 times a day, creating a fatal whirlpool. What makes Charybdis so dark is simple. You can't negotiate, you can't intimidate, you can't outsmart physics, and the most terrifying part, it doesn't hate you. A monster that hates you can make mistakes. A monster that's just an abyss never makes mistakes. Charybdis is the nightmare of sailors and modern people alike, the kind of disaster where bravery doesn't matter, only timing does. 1. Scylla. Scylla is ranked number 1 because she represents the most hopeless type of horror, inevitable loss. Homer's Scylla is described as a creature with 12 dangling feet, 6 long necks, and heads lined with a triple row of teeth, and when ships pass, she snatches 6 sailors, 1 for each head. That's not a duel. That's taxation. Scylla is the monster that turns leadership into trauma, because to pass her, you don't win. You decide who dies so that others live. It's the kind of horror that doesn't end when you escape because you carry it with you. It turns survival into guilt, and that's why Scylla is the darkest monster in the Odyssey. Not because she's the strongest, because she's the one you can't defeat, only endure. Final verdict. So here's the ranking by hopelessness, the shades of Hades, the darkness that tries to keep your soul, the Laestrygonians, the ambush that deletes your army, the Sirens, the song that turns you into your own executioner. Polyphemus, the monster that breaks civilization's sacred law. Charybdis, disaster with no emotion, only physics. Scylla, the unavoidable price 6 men every time. Now it's your turn. Which is darker, the monster that kills you, or the monster that makes you sacrifice your friends to survive? Drop your verdict in the comments, and if you want part 2, we go even more controversial. Odysseus, hero or war criminal?